Everyone, welcome back to my channel Minaxi's Tutorial Home. Today we will discuss about economics. I mean what economics is all about. This is an introductory class for class 12 students. Everyone, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel so that you can get the updates of my new videos. Okay, now let's start the video. So first of all, what economics is all about? The science of economics was born with the publication of Adam Smith's book An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations in the year 1776. Adam Smith is known as the father of economics. At its birth, the name of economics was political economy. Towards the end of the 19th century, there was a definite change from use of the word political economy to economics. The word economics was derived from two Greek words, oikos, which means a house, and nomos, which means to manage. Thus, the word economics was used to mean home management with limited funds available in the most economical manner possible. Lionel Robbins defines economics as a science of scarcity. Professor Robbins, in his book Nature and Significance of Economic Science, states economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Paul Samuelson defines economics as the study of how men and society choose, with or without the use of money, to employ scarce productive resources which could have alternative uses, to produce various commodities over time and distribute them for consumption now and in future among various people and groups of society. This definition emphasizes growth over time. It is modern and wider in scope. The definition takes into account consumption, production, distribution, exchange of good. Hence, it is a most satisfactory definition of economics, and this definition has been accepted universally. Next, we will see two branches of economics, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. Before 1930, there was only one economics. Ragnar Friese coined the words micro and macro in 1933 to denote the two branches of economic theory, namely microeconomics and macroeconomics. First of all, we will see what microeconomics is. The word micro is derived from the Greek word mikros, meaning small. Microeconomics deals with small segments of the society. Microeconomics is defined as the study of behavior of individual decision-making units such as consumers, resource owners, and farms. It is also known as price theory since its major subject matter deals with the determination of price of commodities and factors. Microeconomics has both theoretical and practical importance. It solves the three central problems of an economy, that is, what, how, and for whom to produce. The subject matter of microeconomics can be seen from the diagram in the next slide. Here, this is the diagram showing subject matter of microeconomics. So the various subject matter of microeconomics are product pricing, factor pricing, welfare economics. Okay, next we will see the importance of microeconomics. Microeconomics has both theoretical and practical importance. It will be clear from the points mentioned here. First of all, microeconomics helps in formulating economic policies which enhance productive efficiency and results in greater social welfare. Secondly, microeconomics explain the working of a capitalist economy where individual units, that is, producers and consumers, are free to take their own decision. Microeconomics describes how in a free enterprise economy, individual units attain equilibrium position. Microeconomics helps the government in formulating correct price policies. Microeconomics helps in efficient employment of resources by the entrepreneurs, and microeconomics help business economists to make conditional prediction and business focused. And microeconomics is used to explain gains from trade, disequilibrium in the balance of payment position, and determination of international exchange rate. Apart from the importance, it has some limitations also. Now we will see the limitations or the drawbacks of microeconomics. Microeconomics fails to explain the functioning of an economy as a whole, since it deals with the individual decision making unit of the economy like consumers or producers, etc. It cannot explain unemployment, poverty, illiteracy, and other problems prevailing in the country. Here needs the study of macroeconomics. So next we will see what macroeconomics is. The word macro is derived from the Greek word makros, meaning large. Macroeconomics deals with aggregative economics. Macroeconomics is defined as the study of overall economic phenomena such as problem of full employment, GNP or national income, savings, investment, aggregate consumption, aggregate investment, economic growth, etc. It is also known as theory of income and employment since its major subject matter deals with the determination of income and employment. The study of macroeconomics is used to solve many problems of an economy like monetary problems, economic fluctuations, general unemployment, inflation, disequilibrium in the balance of payment position, etc. You can see the scope or subject matter of macroeconomics from this diagram. So these are the subject matter of macroeconomics like theory of income and employment, theory of general price level and inflation, theory of economic growth, theory of distribution. Next we will see the importance of macroeconomics. Macroeconomics has emerged as the most challenging branch of economics. In the words of Samuelson, no area of economics is today more vital and controversial than macroeconomics. The importance of macroeconomics on theoretical and practical reason is clear from these points. So, first of all, it gives an overall view of the growing complexities of an economic system. It provides powerful tools to explain the working of the complex economic system. Secondly, it provides the basic and logical framework for formulating appropriate macroeconomic policies, for example, for inflation, poverty, unemployment, etc., to direct and regulate economy towards desirable goals. Thirdly, macroeconomics helps in analyzing the reasons for economic fluctuations and provide remedies. It has some limitations. Let's see the limitations of macroeconomics now. Macroeconomics ignores structural changes in an individual unit of the aggregate. The conclusions drawn on the basis of aggregate variables may be misleading. As Hicks puts in, most of macro magnitude which figure so largely in economic discussions are subject to errors and ambiguities. Next, we will see the interdependence between micro and macroeconomics. It is difficult to demarcate or differentiate between micro and macroeconomics. What is macro from an economy's point is micro in the context of the world. It is difficult to say which is more important. Both have their own significance. According to Paul Samuelson, knowledge of both is absolutely vital or important, and there is no competition between macro and microeconomics. Both are complementary and should be fully utilized for proper understanding of an economy. Next, we will see the central problems of an economy. Economic problem is the problem of choice. The problem of choice has to be faced by every economy of the world, whether developed or developing. Human beings have wants which are unlimited. When these wants get satisfied, new wants crop up. Human wants multiply at a fast rate. The economic resources to satisfy these unlimited wants are limited. In other words, resources or factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, are scarce. They are available in limited quantities and have alternative uses. All this necessitates a choice between which good and services to produce first. The economy comprising of individuals, business firms and societies must make this choice. According to Professor Robbins, the economic problem is the problem of choice or the problem of economizing, that is, it is the problem of fuller and efficient utilization of the limited resources to satisfy maximum number of wants. The scarcity of resources create this situation. If an economy employs more resources to produce good X, suppose, then it will have to forego the production of the other good, that is good Y. Hence, economy has to choose which of the two goods X or Y will give more satisfaction. An economy can produce both wheat and rice on the same plot of land. The decision to produce wheat is an outcome of choice. Next, we will see the causes of central problems. So, the three main causes of central problems are: first, human wants are unlimited. Human beings have wants which are unlimited. Human wants get satisfied by consuming goods and services, but new wants keep arising. Secondly, economic resources are limited. Economic or productive resources can be of four kinds. First of all, natural resources like land, air, minerals, forests, etc. Secondly, human resources, which is the labor. Then thirdly, capital resources. Examples of these resources are machines, equipments, etc. And fourthly, entrepreneurial resources, which means an entrepreneur is a person who combines all the other resources to produce output and bears risk. So, this is the second cause of the central problem. These resources are limited in supply and in relation to their demand. Scarcity is the basic feature of every economy. No economy can be self-sufficient in everything. Scarcity is a universal phenomenon which continues indefinitely. The scarcity of resources creates economic problems for every country in the world. And third cause of the central problems is resources have alternative uses. The resources are not only scarce in supply, but they also have alternative uses. For example, land can be used to produce wheat or rice or build a hospital or a school. A choice between the alternative use of land has to be made. This problem of choice leads to economic problems. Next, we will see kinds of central problems. Central or basic problems are reflected in an economy in the form of economic problems of an economy. Any economy, whether market, centrally planned or mixed, has to face these problems. According to Samuelson, there are three fundamental and interdependent problems in an economic organization, and these are what, how, and for whom to produce, which are grouped under allocation of resources. So, under allocation of resources, we will see these problems. First of all, we will see what goods to produce and how much to produce. Due to limited resources, every economy has to decide what goods to produce and in what quantities. If the means are unlimited, then according to Friedman, it would lead to a stage of salvation. But the means are limited and the economy must decide the efficient allocation of scarce resources so that both output and output mix are optimum. An economy has to make a choice of the ones which are important for the economy as a whole. For example, if the economy decides to produce more cloth, it is bound to reduce the production of food. The reason is that resources used to produce food and cloth are limited and given. An economy cannot produce more of both food and cloth. Thus, an economy has to decide what goods it would produce on the basis of availability of technology, cost of production, cost of supplying and demand for the commodity. The problem of how much to produce is the problem of determining the quantity of each good to be produced. In economics, the problem of what to produce is studied under price theory. Secondly, we will see how to produce. It is the question of choice of technique of production. Since resources are scarce, an inefficient technique of production which would lead to wastage and high cost cannot be applied. A technique of production which would maximize output or minimize cost should be used. We generally consider two types of techniques of production. First is labor intensive and the capital intensive techniques. In labor intensive technique, more labor and less capital is used, and in capital intensive technique, more capital and less labor is used. Say for example, in a country like India where labor is in abundance, use of labor intensive techniques is advised. It will employ more people and raise their standard of living. But in USA where capital is in abundance, capital intensive techniques should be applied. Every economy must choose that technology which would minimize the cost. Next we will see the problem of choice of technique of production is studied under the theory of production. Next we will see for whom to produce. This is the question of how to distribute the product among the various sections of the society. National product is the total output generated by the farms. The total output ultimately flows to the households in the form of income, that is their wages, rent, profits or interest. There are millions of people in a society. Each one cannot get sufficient incomes to satisfy all his wants. This raises the problem of distribution of national product among different households. In economics, the problem of distribution of national product is studied under the theory of distribution. In addition to the problem of allocation of resources, Lipse has described three more economic problems, and these are full utilization of resources. This is the problem of how to achieve full employment of resources. It is important that resources should not remain idle, as it implies wastage of resources. The problem is to ensure full employment of all resources. This problem is studied under the theory of income and employment. Next, economic efficiency. This is the question of how to obtain efficiency in the utilization of resources and distribution of what has been produced. This is the problem of efficiency in production and distribution system. Efficiency is defined as a situation where it is possible to make anyone better off without making someone worse off. This problem is studied under welfare economics. Next, we have economic growth. This is the question of whether the economy's capacity to produce goods and services is growing from year to year or is it remaining static. Economic growth is induced by savings and investment. For example, economic development is induced by plenty of capital and forward techniques of production. Problems of this type are studied under the theory of economic growth. Okay, from this table you can see the central problems and the branch of economics which deals with it. So you can see allocation of resources, like the problems what and how much to produce, how is deal with the branches of economics which is price theory. Then how to produce is deal with theory of production, for whom to produce deals with the theory of distribution. Then full utilization of resources deals with theory of income and employment. Then economic efficiency deals with welfare economics, and economic growth deals with growth economics. Okay, thank you. For the next video, please do subscribe to my channel. I will upload the next video very soon. Thank you, all of you.